Welcome back. Last episode, we explored the very nature of the multiverse, the place where MTG lore takes place. We discovered there are an infinite number of worlds housed within this multiverse, and that there is a binding agent between these planes, the Aether, also known as the Blind Eternities. We too learned of planeswalkers, intelligent beings with their abilities to cross one plane to another, interwoven with their other arcane talents. They are also the main players and the driving force behind the MTG lore and events. Yet, we only struck a glancing blow in discovering the complexity of a planeswalker. In endeavouring to dissect the elements of a planeswalker, we are assisted by the research and musings of an astonishing mind, who of which altered the philosophical question of a planeswalker into a scientific crusade. The hypothesis is this: there is a central mechanic that governs the ability for any sentient being to become a planeswalker, the spark. The spark is an intangible essence and cannot be measured, but it is the engine, fueled by the Aether, that allows the planeswalker to function. Most confounding of all in the endeavour of this research is how the spark is present in an estimated 1 in a million sentient beings, and further, it is latent, meaning many who have the spark may live and die without ever being aware of it. This means some other process or variable is the catalyst which awakens the spark. The spark must have an ignition. So, what makes a planeswalker then is this spark, a 1 in a million element that will never be realised in many, because they never find what triggers theirs. How lucky are we then to have our spark, part of the soul of the Aether, actualised within us and augmenting our talents? I suppose I should say that there is no concrete evidence for the spark being born from the Aether, though it's not a fact, it is the generally accepted explanation for many. The central question becomes, when all of the multiverse ignites the spark? A substantial question, and one with as many answers as there are planeswalkers in existence. Although in further episodes as we talk about specific documented planeswalkers, exploring what ignited their particular spark will be par the course. Suffice to say, the spark seems to be ignited in various ways. A meditative nirvana, for example, a striking, overwhelming epiphany, but the chief cause of the ignition seems to be enormous trauma. A near-death experience, say, or the grief of a lost loved one, uncovered lies from those you trusted most, in the midst of torture, disownership from all you knew, or the fury and the bloodshed in revenge. One thing for certain we know is that the spark, and indeed planeswalkers themselves, are very different than they were in eons past. An enormously pivotal event occurred thousands and thousands of years ago, known as the Mending. For now, we will abridge the event and home in on the effect it had on the planeswalkers, since that is our current endeavour. Don't worry though, we will be returning to the Mending in the future. Before the Mending healed and rebalanced the multiverse, planeswalkers were godlike, complete with immortality and omniscience. The capabilities they had back then dwarfed anything we could do today, or even dare to contemplate doing today. For example, can any of us bring a plane into being from nothing more than our intense focus and will? With no exaggeration, they were of a different class, in a different era, in a very different multiverse. This was all altered when the Mending happened. The Spark and the Planeswalker found new harmony with the multiverse at large, at the expense of their godlike status. Planeswalkers post-Mending are often affectionately called Neo-Walkers, an annotation given for the modern-day Planeswalkers, who are nonetheless powerful and able to planeswalk, but are without the godlike status, as I said, such as the omnipotence, the immortality, and the sheer power of the predecessors. So there we have it. Hopefully you can understand the very nature of the Planeswalker a little bit better, and appreciate the complexity of them and the Spark. It is more than the locomotion of a Planeswalker, it is the very entity that defines them, and of course, as Planeswalkers ourselves, it is the very identity that defines us. Some may even say it is the soul of a Planeswalker, and much like the soul, it is unique to each and every one. Whatever it may be that fled your particular spark, it falls on you, as I have said before, what to accomplish with it and what you choose to pursue. Do be very aware, however, even though mundane beings might not be able to detect your ascended mark, other Planeswalkers can. In the next episode, we will situate ourselves at the earliest known event of Magic the Gathering's universe, the Elder Dragon War. This pins the beginning of us delving into the actual recorded events of the lore, and we will continue from there. Also, dragons? So until then, don't forget to release your untapped potential.